4 o'clock and we're ready to go. Rock and roll. Hoochie coo. Yeah. Hello, only on Fun My Comic. As you can see, I got a haircut and a shave, although I have that 4 o'clock shadow. I always have to have that 4 o'clock shadow. Shadow Hawk in the house. Hello. Unfortunately, yeah, I just put this comment in. Like I say, the comments on, that you previously in there aren't recorded. It's only at the time. So anything we say ahead of time may show up on YouTube chat, but not necessarily where I can highlight it and restream. Well, anyway, small little thing. But anyway, been a kind of a busy day for me. Hence the title, "Put the Money in the Kitty." I think I got like, let's see, what was it? About $47 back from my taxes. And that's counting, federal, $4 back from federal. Of course, I went to H&R Block. I said, I need to call and make an appointment. Of course, I got my W-2 about a week ago or more. And most people haven't gotten their W-2s. And I said, oh, okay, well, and they wanted like money up front, which I didn't have for like the previous year, 2023's taxes, but I'll get that in myself and save that money, that refund for me, I guess. But this one, I said, yeah, go ahead and file it. It had the campaign money on there. We did take a deductible. Excuse me, for all the artists that we paid and things like that, rolling the money back in, show a loss. So I thought, to get the taxes done, I just called in today, got in today. So it's like, wow, yeah, let's do it. But yeah, I'm getting like $46 back, something like that. Most it's probably the first time, maybe not, that state has been more than federal. Looks like I'm, that maybe COVID year was a fluke where, I got a really good return I wasn't expecting. But this, my returns is about half that. And then they take half or more of my return when H&R Block does it. That the only reason I did this year was campaign money, which will be campaign money to next year too. So I don't know. When it comes to taxes, oodles and oodles of taxes. Some of you will get that. Still waiting on mine, still paying last year's taxes. Yeah. Yeah. Last year they got it a little bit before the end of January, my W-2s to me, and which I thought was cool. Because the year before it was like 3 days after, 3 days into February. Legally, they don't have to get it to you. Just have it in the mail. Now, whether they did or not, I don't know. But and when you're wanting to file early and get that done to get a return back, which usually I'm not like that, but probably, some years I am. Uh, anyway, uh, got up early, stayed up because it's like, yeah, I gotta get up early and be down there by 8:30, get my hair cut and shaved. Don't want to forget about that. So I stayed up. I slept, but you know, been up a while today. Um, so I'm thinking process is a little slow. I also watched to stay up. I watched first season of Daniel Boone. Not the whole thing. I'm still working on it. Actually, pretty good season of Daniel Boone. Probably one of the best. Came out in 1964. All the episodes. I watched something on YouTube. I've been watching some more YouTube for sure of late. 83 views yesterday at the close of yesterday's. I think we were at 73 average watch time, 18 minutes and 55 seconds with a high of 15 people. We're up like 11 new subscribers. That's wonderful. I've been watching more Doctor Who and currently watching The Abominable Snowman, which I have on uh, Blu-ray, but until I find my controller, I can't play it over here. But now it is on YouTube, and I will drop the link for that if anybody wants to see the end. Uh, hey, got in. There we go. Just to get the link. And you know what? I got to go through YouTube to send anything. I think on Restream it's very difficult. So anything I drop, any links, waiting for it to come up. There we go. Marcus in the house. How are you, sir? Did I send you a link today? I sent you a link yesterday. I couldn't remember if I sent you one today or not. I may not have. But there's the link if you want to see The Abominable Snowman, all the episodes. I think there's 4 episodes on YouTube that you can watch right now. I don't know for how long. I think that's fine. You can also watch another animated one of the first Doctor that's on there, Galaxy 4. I haven't watched all of that. That one's kind of boring. Now, I don't have the audio to The Abominable Snowman. I kind of know the premise of that one. So, but not all of it. And I don't have the official audio like I do for Galaxy 4. I've heard you're at work. Okay. A lot of people listen from work. I'm not the only one. You're not the only one. We may have some special guests come in and bop in late. We may not. I like the unpredictability of it. Had a good stream yesterday. Prep of the show. I'm trying to get down to a certain. On X, I've been dropping, retweeting things. So more and more. Trying to get down to where I wanted to be. There we go. Okay. Now that won't be a distraction anymore. So yeah, I called my sister and talked to her for a while. The book's been on my mind because anytime I go get my hair cut, I kind of talk to the beautician. Her husband's usually there, or other people, and I talk about the book. And she and I think I gave her a complimentary copy of the ash can, and she knows what's been going on of late, and I try and keep her updated. Hey, Carrie, and uh, so it's all been kind of fresh on my mind. I showed her the 2-page double page spread that Marcus not Marcus. You're on my mind, Marcus, and that work. That Jay Kreger did the drawn interior with Shadowhawk and the others, the Crooked Painter and Lack, and so she thought that was wonderful. I'm very proud of those 2 pages. I asked about him doing a cover for me. I think I mentioned that yesterday. If not, maybe the day before. Not right now because he's busy right now on other things. But, I said, oh, no, I don't need it now. Later on in the year. Although he would table what we had discussed about him doing in a couple of months, which works out with my time schedule really well. I will be working on just did last year's taxes, 2003's taxes in. I should have already gotten them in, but if I don't go through H&R Block, should be able to get, enough to pay some more artists. I've got to pay for the coloring, for the Jimmy Reyes cover, which John Dillard will be doing. And other things, kick the can down the road a little bit further. To say I'm disappointed, and that's the one reason I didn't even file to 2023 taxes. That the year before just so disillusioned me about it. It's like, man, you're taking almost more than I get back. And mine's fairly simple. Now, when it came to the campaign money, I had questions about that. So, I said, oh, let's just go ahead and do it. And if we can do both years and get it done today, then, and get it all, refunded back fairly soon at the same time, let's do it. And yeah, this year, no. And they wanted the money up front, like $200, somewhere around there. And I was only getting 400 and something back to do 2023. And it's like, no, I'll do that. I'll do 2023. I can do that and keep all 400 and something of it. That's crazy, Thanks again for the comic. It will be reviewed eventually. I'm still in the A section of the alphabet and will be for quite some time at this pace. Just saying. I was remiss in not mentioning the 26th of January was the anniversary a couple days ago of receiving Abby 12 years ago. She's been with me now 12 years and 2 days. I got her on the 26th of January. She was 3 months old, born on my birthday, November 2nd. So we share the same birthday. Came all the way from the bottom of the state, almost to the bottom, very bottom, not quite. And from Stevens, Arkansas, which is right out of El Dorado, right above El Dorado, which is below the middle of the state. It's toward the bottom of the state. It's quite a drive down there. Probably about 10-hour drive from here, where she was born. Got to see her brother in a photo, but he was ran over and killed. And the mother was stolen because they are purebreds and they are worth some money. And she was the last, I guess, left in the litter, being a female, not as desirable as some of the males. They did breed them for like hunting dogs, things like that. I was reminded by Joe down there at the haircutting place, because they love to have Abby come by, and she loves being there while I get my hair cut. gets to sniff around and people coming in and out, although there wasn't much of that today. And she gets to roam around freely. Usually when she goes to me with me, she has to stay in the truck. Usually we don't get her out. She'll get out and about, and I'm driving, and she's used to me driving. And when I'm spraying and working, I'll let her out to use the restroom, but we had to get back up in the truck. That's about all the roaming she gets to do. When I get my haircut, she can go in, no problem, roam around the place, and she likes that. Um, it's something, gets out of the house, especially during the wintertime. It's nice. But anyway, I was reminded by Joe that, yeah, you could put Abby in the book. And it's like, yeah, I might have Abby be Midnight's dog, in the series, which would make sense, right? They're gaming dogs if they're trained. She could go over after small game like rabbits and squirrels in the Old West, prairie dogs. Although prairie dogs are pretty well dug in with you'd have to catch one of them off guard to catch a prairie dog. They're not that easy to catch. I've kind of researched them and used to raise them for a short period of time. Anyway, I got that done. A little bit of cooking. I had a pizza early on, and it wasn't tuna pizza, prong, or sweet corn. It was your, you know, pepperoni, sausage, or beef. And what else? Cheese, and of course you got to have cheese. Um, Ham, I guess. It was the meat trio, whatever pizza, and it was good. And I was still hungry after that, after making that. You have no idea how many A books I have backed, and honestly, neither do I. We will find out together. Yeah, it's great. Look, maybe you need to do two, especially if they're very thin floppies, because you got done very quickly within 30 minutes, and that was with us talking and blathering about. You could almost do two. Here's one, here's another one, especially if they're thin. I know some of those Splatos comics, floppies that I got, like No, and what was the other one, which was about the pandemic. Uh, that was a thin book. The Nexus book, by the very first one, that um God, why am I not thinking of his name? I even asked him to come on. Shelby. No, it wasn't Shelby. Kelsey Shannon. Yeah. Uh, I did ask him I said, throw a dog. This is what I actually said. I said, throw a dog a bone, come back on. Uh, so maybe we'll get Kelsey back on. I don't know. He's a hard get, but we had great views on that one. Whenever he pops up on any channel, whether it be John's Long Box or wherever, everybody's interested in seeing Kelsey. He's a great grab, a great get. I almost like yesterday. We had a lot of guests on yesterday. 5, I think, total. But just about a full panel. One more person would have made a full panel. And I was hoping a 6th person would drop in. I hated it the other day. We actually got 6 in here, and we had 7 people. So Omer, I had to kind of kick to let Fanta back in, because she kind of came in first, and but he was good about it, and he understood. Only so much, till someone leaves. He didn't stay in the green room he said, "How dare you?" and then just left. Never came back. Not my fault. And I think it was toward the end of the show. We didn't have much. Kelsey just doesn't like the live stream. I understand. And that's why we have to make it fun when they get here and want to come back. And in between times, hopefully there's not such an expanse that they forget how fun it was to be on, you know. Um, Man, we might pay him under the table. We've never done that. We never had to do that. Maybe we need to start doing that, Shadow. Excuse me. What else did I do today? No mail, no hoodie. I don't know. Don't know what's going on there. Supposed to get a brand new Doctor Who hoodie, which I'm excited to get if I ever get it. And it was sent over a week ago from Elsie to me. So maybe it's hung up. I don't know. He's supposed to check it. I don't know if he remembers. Today's Tuesday, and nobody reminded me to send the link to Texas Dave. But that's all right. I remembered on my own. And I haven't sent out every link yet to people. But I will send Texas Dave so he won't whine about, I didn't get a link. What the hell happened? He never whines. I'm just making that up. Seems like I'm forgetting something. I did a little bit of writing. Like I said, watching some Daniel Boone, first season. I'm watching them out of order. The last couple of days, I haven't been watching anything. I've been giving my eyes a rest, actually, because my eyes get dry when you binge watch. Send LZ the link. He shows up late anyway. Happy birthday, Mark R. Largent. His birthday today. I'll tell him happy birthday while I'm over here on Facebook. That's good for birthdays, birthday notifications. I had it marked down on the calendar. Yeah, I was hoping I was hoping, that tax people would put a little bit of money in a kitty for me. But alas, $46, something like that. Of course, I've still got 2023 to file, and if I can get 400 something or a portion of that, that'll help. Every bit helps. If you hadn't hit that like button, hit that like button and subscribe. We are doing well with the subscription. I think we're up 11 people already this month in the last 28 days. No, 12 in the last 28 days. That's phenomenal. 459 subscribers. Views are up. Watch time hours are up. Everything seems to be up. Everything's, looking up. What can I say? I had no complaints at this point. View hours are up. I mean, we're getting in great views on the videos, or at least, some of these larger channels are like, or when Kami Mark was on, he was like, anything under 200, I usually delete. I'm like, wow, I would have one or two videos up. I mean, used to. Some would eventually get up to 200. I think the most one's gotten's like 300 something. But that's Abby normal. Jackson Pollock's birthday today. I know nobody wants to hear it. Jackson Pollock's heavenly birthday. I actually made that a thing, part of the title last year. Happy birthday, Jackson Pollock. Thought I'd at least admit this year. Further down. I've ruined it now. Started the show. Do the opener, win the opener. Been a lot of neat stuff that I've check it out over on like Turkish Wizard of Oz. Uh, that was pretty neat. You love Jackson Pollock. I like the freedom. I like the just he edited canvas like you know film. I mean, he painted like the Orientals. I mean, he was an innovator in his time. First American painting to sell for over $1 million was his. You know, but if we're talking purely financial success in life, not so much. Alcoholic. You know, I didn't like the Pollock movie. I wish I would have seen Malkovich. When I saw Mice and Men like in 1988, this is my friend George, and he played the dumb one. Um, he did, and he looked the part. He looked a lot like Jackson Pollock. I thought John Malkovich can only play Jackson Pollock, but Ed Harris wound up playing him in that Pollock movie. Um, at least there was a movie made about him, but yeah, it's it's. I mean, it's okay. It's not what it could have been. I don't think. Very very rarely do you hit off and a movie or entertainment exactly what it needed to be. With the exact casting and everything. Uh, it's just usually not there, and it's usually a disappointment. I've been tweeting these Talking Dog series from like the 30s. I guess they came out. I never really saw those. Um, get down here. Get down on it if you really want it. Uh, should all. One thing that came out was the unofficial DC Comics Hostess snack ads collection. So they have that in a smaller book, almost, I guess, digest size. You can see here the scale of it. So they're starting to like the gumball machine little things. Wow, what happened to that last tail? Rex is on the road to 500. Yes, yes, yes. So now they've put this Hostess snack ad stuff into like a little digest. That's pretty cool. Don't know if I have before anybody asks, I don't know if I actually have a link to that. Let's see if it does. This is a digest size collection of all the DC Hostess ads that were in nearly every comic when I was a kid. Unfortunately, this book is no longer for sale online. It's very well done. Hmm. Well, I guess hit eBay up. He doesn't tell what year it came out, but that's pretty neat to have it all compiled into one resource. I don't know that they're really. I mean, it's nostalgic, and I do like the digest size for that. The original Batmobile, number 3, because I think there was more than one, sold at Barrett Jackson's auction this week, and this was posted the 26th, so a couple of days ago. This week for $450,000 plus fees. It says. Here's a look at that. 450,000. Um, you'd think it would go for more when I read that. Yes, she was. Yeah, she was the young. Yeah, Jennifer Connelly was. Yeah, in that Pollock movie. You are correct. You would think that Batmobile would go for more. I don't know what kind of mileage it's got on it. I imagine it gets trucked everywhere from show to show. Surely you can make it, it's almost like having a masterpiece that you could just show off and get money. 27th was Ross Bagdasarian. He was born in 1990, creator for the cartoon band Alvin and the Chipmunks, and the song Witch Doctor. I told the witch doctor, you, something like that. 1958, and was the player in Hitchcock's Rear Window, 1954. Wow. Passed in 1972, 52, at only age 52 of heart failure. Wow. Lewis Carroll, born in 1832, January 26th. Remember for children's books, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, and its sequel, Through the Looking Glass, passed in 1898 at age 65 from pneumonia following influenza. Hellzone Sims project live on Indiegogo. Currently, Sims Hellzone, a 68 plus page book, action sci-fi horror, $698, 8 backers. I think that's picked up a couple backers since I last saw it. Uh, Highlander reboot starring Henry Cavill, who played Superman, begins filming in May in Scotland. I really wish they would come up with some original material, to tell you the truth. It's screwed up. Let's see. Maybe I'll start in the back here. What I posted today. Sean Galloway, he does like the Hanna-Barbera type stuff with Space Ghost, Mytor, or Xandor, the Herculoids. Man, it's awesome looking stuff. He's been on my radar recently. Raven Reckoning, Pistol Shrimp #3 by Charlie McFarlane. Now has an early sign up available right now. Only 13 more people needed to get a look at the new cover. Go get it now. I have 1 and 2, and I can tell you they are really fun. Pistol Shrimp. It's kind of like Octopus Cowboy, type thing. Pistol Shrimp. Jose Garcia, I'm trying to get this comic done by the end of February and come up with a new 80-page volume every 2 months. Wow. Guy's a beast working, It's called Club Fan Fleur, I believe, a steampunk story about saving the world against the machines, the fear of magic and politics and history, rewritten as propaganda to fund and an unknown war against an unknown enemy in a yet uncharted world. Lots of lore, action, and hopefully cool art launching on March on Kickstarter and Fund My Comic. Here's some artwork from that, which is different from most of the stuff you see. It's almost abstract the way it's done. I feel the love, sir. Let's see. I want to say that guy owns the Batmobile, lives in Dallas, or he did, forget the name, but he was a radio DJ. What's this creepy ass stream, Dillard says. So this is some of Jose Garcia's latest work. He did Lumina Vox. Man, he can crank this stuff out. Very reminiscent of a lot of different art movements, especially the Russian scene, sort of avant-garde type stuff. Interesting. I don't understand what's going on with Twitter today. I really don't. It seems to be going from my profile pictures to somewhere else on Twitter by itself. I don't know what it is, but we'll get past it. Skunk Artworks over there in Germany says he just wants to turn characters into dinosaurs. Here's a look at his current watercolor that he's done. Sort of a pterodactyl man. Very nice in color. Like Skunk's artwork over here. Herculoids cover, but done by Borgen Barons, 2025. Herculoids! Love this. There's a very realistic feel to it. Does he look like a stone ape? I suppose he does. Gloop and Gleep there. And Tara. They look like space slugs, which is pretty neat take. It almost looks like a toy setup. I guess it's digitally rendered. Very neat. I guess he's got the Peter Jackson King Kong, to kind of riff off of with Ookla, who's the stone ape. 12 people watching right now. Hit that like if you would. Eric and Boyd in the chat. EDO to the chat. EDO. Okay. I like that. That's next level cover artwork for, of course, I like the Hanna-Barbera stuff in DC Comics or whatever. A recent online poll named the Byrne X-Men books as the top run of all time. No surprise here. John Byrne and Chris Claremont and Terry Austin, X-Men, number 1. Frank Miller and Klaus Janson, Daredevil, number 2. Steve Ditko and Stan Lee, Spider-Man, number 3. Alan Moore, Swamp Thing. Neil Gaiman's Sandman, number 5. Jack Kirby and Stan Lee's Fantastic Four, number 6. Grant Morrison's Howard Porter and John Dale's R.A.? I don't know what that is. Walt Simonson's Thor comes in 8th. Marv Wolfman and George Perez's new Teen Titans coming in 9. And Chris Claremont's Post-Cockrum X-Men comes in 10. That's CBR readers voted 2024 top comic book runs of all time. The Master Lists, which saw Wolfman and Perez's new Teen Titans barely landing in the top 10. That's pretty sad, actually, because that was a good run. good run. If you're doing commission work, I don't know why people do this. Like Greg Murray, he puts up commission work all the time. Greg, you do wonderful stuff. Does like recreations of like Marvel books and stuff and posts them on it. This classic Amazing Spider-Man cover with the suit of Spidey, $75. All that work for $75. It's like I would rather put all my artistic effort into not doing recreations for chump change. Sorry, Greg. I mean, and you'll probably sell it. You probably sell those and it pays the bills, whatever. All of us, I'm not hating on you for it, but it's like, can you not work on your own IP? I would rather do that as an artist. Now, Gary does the brushwork, the inking. He does a lot of recreations and stuff. That's his shtick. Okay, fine, wonderful. But again, why not work on something fresh, original, and your own, and you own it? I don't get. I want to draw Batman. Okay, well, let's go to DC, and you'll draw Batman, and you'll get paid, work for hire. But why not come up with something that's got potential, original? I don't get it. I don't get it. Why people? I mean, am I a fan of Avengers? Yes. But George Perez has already done the Avengers. Jack Kirby's already done the Avengers. Other great artists have already done the Avengers, and I enjoy it. And if I really enjoyed it enough, I might, I like the Beast. I might try my hand at a Beast. And I've tried my hand at creating a Beast-like character for my own universe unsuccessfully. He's so distinctive. I don't know. And one of these days I'll hit it, what I'm looking for. I don't have a clear vision of it. That was a pretty good list. Might rearrange it in a bit. Yeah. Yeah, it was a pretty good list. I mean, you got the Byrne and Terry Austin X-Men #1. Totally agree with that. At 10, though, at the bottom of the list, you got the Cockrum X-Men. I can see that too. Less popular, but still great stories. I mean, that's really its strength. And then reintroduction of old characters, and then uh, you know, Carrie says, "What do you think to Trump signing executive order to declassify files relating to JFK, Senator RFK, and Martin Luther King?" I love it because recently, I think under Biden, wasn't it, or maybe it was Obama, they were trying to make the JFK files 75 years, so that, make it where you couldn't open them up. If it makes the CIA, or oust the then Democratic vice president as having some, LBJ, which is a piece of crap, warmongering, only, whatever president. Oh, well, he was for, look, man. Got a D behind the name? Sorry, you've lost me right there. Radical. I mean, they've been the bane of Americans' existence, ever since they came into existence in the political system. A lot of the problems that we're dealing with today were begun by that party. Never been a fan of it. I mean, even as a young kid that couldn't even vote, I could see, right is right and wrong is wrong. And even before they got radicalized, I had no place for them. They're just big troublemakers. Always have been. Executive orders, like I said, I don't know how many he signed at this point. I think, probably needs to do that. Does it set? I mean, Biden, I don't know that Biden himself set a dangerous precedent. I know on the very first day in office, he's fined 15. And a lot of that was just to overturn Trump policies that were actually working fairly well and smoothly at the time, which is asinine. It's been said Trump signing that doesn't mean all the files will be released. Yeah, well, I mean, if they resist, he can send in federal marshals and will, you know. Uh, are they still going to try and cover up stuff? Yeah, because it makes the wrong people look bad. I love it. I love look. Our government needs to work for the people, not us for the government. You know, it needs to have some transparency to it. These files are 60 years old, over 60 years old. Why not release what went on? Oh, it was a conspiracy. All those assassinations. Yeah, it was out of hand. It was out of hand in the 60s. That's one thing that 60s is known for is, you know, the death of Kennedy and Malcolm X and MLK and the other Kennedy. I don't think we will ever get to the actual truth of some of those things. I don't either. You know, it's been too much time and too well covered up. And there's, if they really want to bury something, they can bury it. You know, we have to get, we have to nail the deep state. I mean, look, it's mind control. It's absolutely crap. But you know, in today's uh harder to hide things. Um, Here's BlackRock CEO and his demonic pals all over the world think freedom is over and that we must serve them. It's all about slavery and forcing you to comply by any means necessary. I totally agree with that. Um, BlackRock is a blight, and something needs, and most people are even unaware of what BlackRock's doing. It needs to stop.
You now make a point of that's an investment criteria for you.
Well, behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. You have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock we are forcing behaviors. 54% of the incoming class are women. We added 4 more points in terms of diverse employment this year. And you know, what we're doing internally is if you don't achieve these levels of impact, your compensation could be impacted. Okay,
we're doing the same thing.
And so it's just
wow.
You have to force behaviors.
That's incredible,
and
Marcus.
If you don't force behaviors, whether it's
I had no idea it was 8,000 executive orders.
Just any way you want to say
Not
the
even
composition
close
of your team, you're going to be impacted, and that's just not recruiting. It is development, as Ken said. And ultimately, it's still going to take time, but I am just as much shocked as Ken is that we have not seen more opportunities. We're going to have to force change.
You know, these inbreds, I mean, he was repeating the same thing again and again, like he's some great genius. This, you know, he's a man just like I am. But, you know, with no common sense and maybe, you know, whatever. I didn't sell myself to the devil. Anyway, I had no idea it was 8,000 executive orders signed by Biden. That doesn't, I mean, that was the only way he could get anything done. Tyranny. And, you know, Biden might have signed it, but did he put it together? No. It's the globalist agenda. And, you know, one of the smartest things Trump did was put people into looking, were people acting on Biden's behalf, unbeknownst to him, and actually doing the job of the president, because he sure didn't do it while he was in office. He took more time off than probably any president. Question is how much evidence, files, etc., have been eliminated over the years. I'd agree with that. I don't want to be stressed tonight. Gonna go. Take care. Okay. Will be fascinating to see unfold JFK, one of the biggest conspiracies. Yeah. I mean, you know, I guess. You know, I mean, I think your life is totally, you know, changed by the underbelly of things. Definitely. Do you really want to know? I don't know that the American people's ready to, you know, really know. I don't know if they really want to know, you know, the seedier side of America, because it does change your view of America. But I say have fun with it.
This one says, now that the retards are out of the White House, everyone can say retard again with pride.
Why don't we get that down so they can get them going right now?
This one says white people are now allowed to say the N-word once a month, just to really get one out of the chamber. And it must be whispered with a black friend nearby.
That's a big one, but we're opening up that one.
This is a good one, sir. Basically says if men have to put their height on the dating apps, women should have to put their weight. That's for quote-unquote equality. She wants to know if he can reach the top of the fridge. He should want to know if she's going to clean out the fridge. It's called the Rosie O'Donnell Fat Pig Act.
That's a big one.
Okay, this one says the LGBTQIA plus 2- question mark / umlaut community is now just going to be called the everything but straight people list. It's really just a time saver.
Well, we're going to try and get it done as quickly as possible.
China will now be called China America.
No, if China didn't approve it, we could put tariffs on China.
When we take over Greenland, it will now be called Red, White, and Blue Land.
Greenland is a wonderful place. We need it for international security.
This says if you see a man wearing a COVID mask outside, you can have sex with his girlfriend because Lord knows him is not pleasing her any longer.
People have wanted to do this for years. What's this one?
This says we are bringing back the real gun emoji, getting rid of that weak Democrat woke water pistol bullshit.
We have to do what's right.
Oh, this one's interesting, sir. It says all the fat, bald feminists with 40 cats who hate men, they will now be put in the front lines during any war. They don't have family or kids, just cats, as I said, so let's put them to work.
And that's the equivalent, almost the equivalent of a tariff. And they're tough. They're very tough.
If somebody says you have to respect my pronouns, you are allowed to fart in their mouth, sir.
Stranger things have happened. The wind brings it down a lot.
This one says if a woman divorces you and takes half your stuff, she's required to have sex with you half the time. Fair is fair, sir.
If we create that value, why aren't we entitled to like half? Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, guys.
Anyway, Carrie says, I don't think it was about wanting it. It was felt by those on the panel of peers show that Americans deserve to know. Yeah, I mean, who made this joke video? It's all over X, and you're not on X, so no pardon needed with Tyler Fisher streaming now on Fox Nation Originals. So that's who made it. Very interesting. 72 pages down, says 6 a.m. Comics on his book. 6 a.m. does more than stickers. He's working on a comic himself. Here's a recent page he posted. It's all there. You only have to look. Yeah. Well, yeah, it'd be interesting. I know you say just buy my book. Do you have in there that they replaced the windshield the very next day? Why? Maybe you do. You know, there was some shenanigans going on there for sure. And yeah, let's face it, Kennedy's had a lot of enemies. Not only him, but logos for links, which will be coming out from Ethan Van Sciver and All Caps Comics this year. So there's his female character Link that he posted earlier. I've now got 5 pages of links from artist E.J. Morgs. He says, man, this stuff sings. His art is incredible. So happy to have him drawing Cyberfrog stuff. I think I'll keep the first issue at 25 pages, he says, so we can put this book out in 2025. So links coming 2025 sometime this year. Chad Townsend that did Black Phantom. He says, I'm excited to share the final cover art for my upcoming book, Black Phantom Holy Terror. This edition will feature a stunning holochrome cover. I love holochrome covers. That's probably one of my favorite, that and glow in the dark. Just like my previous book, and it's yours for just $10, plus the glow in the dark variant teased yesterday, he says, is in the works and will be available for around $20. Fingers crossed for confirmation soon. It's not cheap to make the glow in the dark covers. Thank you for your continued support. Let's make this launch unforgettable. I'm now eyeing February 7th, he says, for the launch. And here's that cover. I'm not sure the glow in the dark cover I did see. Yeah, it was like a close up of his face. I did support Black Phantom. I had the standee right up there. Christina Payne in the house. Hey, Christina, it's good to see you. The glow in the dark, waiting to hear back from my printer on this, but what do you guys think about this? The limited glow in the dark in the dark variant for my next campaign. I think people like glow in the dark stuff. It kind of reminds me of one of the, was it late 90s or 2000s Ghost Rider character when they made him real stylized. Also reminds me of DC's iteration of El Diablo, an old character from DC, Western type character that they did, one iteration of it. I say do more glow in the dark covers, but they do get expensive to produce. Let's not. I'm working, or actually had contacted Jake Digger about doing, because I like the 2-page spread, the way he made Midnight look spot on, made her look sexy and right on model of what I kind of had envisioned. Anybody that's in the drawn interior shouldn't have any complaints whatsoever, because it looked just like the reference that they sent for the, to be drawn into the book. And that's not the end of it. It's not just like a 1-page cameo stuff. So your characters are going to be part of the Momentum universe. That's going to be interesting, weaving, real life people into characters, and it'd be interesting. Lack, it's like, yeah, he needs to be a scout, he needs to be a tracker, he needs to be a trailblazer, kind of got his character just like that, And now some of the roustabouts, it's kind of like, I don't know how many of the Howling Commandos, Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos, or Sergeant Rock and the Easy Company. I don't know how many of those. He had a core group that didn't get killed. They might have been put in danger. They might have been wounded, even Sergeant Rock himself, but they didn't get killed off. There will be some of the roustabouts. There'll be like, a loose confederations of roustabouts that she early on, meets, and some characters are going to be killed. They're going to die, and they'll be replaced by others, and keep that roustabout roster about the same. in numbering. I've been giving that a lot of thought, but yeah, there's an Aztec cover, and I asked him about his rate for that and whatnot, and I said I'm not ready right now for that at all. Just wanted to know if you'd be willing to do, of what you charge for a cover, and if it was feasible, and uh, great idea for that. January 31st, horror comes to town, says Adam Lawson. My book with Phil, Phil Pops, I think it is. Psycho Slumber gets a fresh new cover by Doug uh, Mankey. It will be available on Indiegogo and Kickstarter pre-launch page. Psycho Slumber, which also has Phil Diaz character in there, Krim, on the cover. Little crossover with his character, Slumber characters. Very cool. Like the coloring. Interesting. Apex Comics in the house. Hey, Apex. Yeah, they didn't kill off many of them, though, And I'm not saying that I'm going to have a whole slew, but it is the Wild Wild West, and people do get shot. They do get arrows, I do want you to be invested in the characters. I don't want. Initially I might have some disposable characters that didn't have like fully developed, just to have some death, out there for some characters. But for the most part, I'm going to try and develop them. Just finished the colors on this cover. It came out on a Wednesday, number 25. Brog, which is the stone character, and the Brog, the swamp monster versus the Granite Beast. There we go. Granite Beast is on bottom here. Very cool stuff from Pete Samedi and Alterna Comics. Came out on a Wednesday, which is all about monsters. Probably done more covers for that than anyone. I know Keith Rockerford did the cover to the one that I had my ads in. Yeah, I don't want to invest a lot of time into some characters, developing them just to kill them off. But I definitely want you to be invested in the character somewhat, unless it's just a throwaway character. This finished thing that Peter was working on, which is Marcus's character, Captain Courage, I believe his name is. He was also working on Bog. If I go to notes, I can bring that up. He was showing that on. He's still working on it a little bit, so it's not finished, but it's looking dope, And maybe we'll work this into the supplement, the Bog supplement, which I will be working on here fairly soon. I already know the 2-page spread that I'm going to start with. I'll probably draw things out of order on the thing. Definitely, and sometimes it just starts with one scene, with the Devil Flyer story, it started with one scene. Mortal Rising over there on Fund My Comic. 7 backers, $336, 34% funded. It is on storefront, no end date. This is issue 2 for Immortal Rising. let's take a look on Choppy Ad.
I'll find you, Locutus, my creator. From your chaotic bones I shall make my order. Congratulations, recruits.
I'm so excited!
I don't want to babysit two spoiled princes.
I need to make a good impression for the soldiers. This is a silly waste of time.
What? Is that my long-lost magic ruby? Empress, find my ruby.
Your will is my command, my master.
That's the good stuff.
We're invading
Narrating.
Terra to find Balmain's ruby.
Go forth, save the innocent, and punish the wicked.
Yes, Father. I have an easy life. But is that all there is?
The ruby could win this war once and for all. Let's kick the nest and see what falls out.
Locutus calls to his creations for help.
Where are we?
What are those things? We have to get out of here.
Have the gods gone mad?
The Bomanites have invaded Terra. Has the
What a
last
great
shard
name,
of
the
Locutus'
Abominite.
heart been found?
The war cannot continue without the heart. We can't risk losing it if it's there.
You've come to the wrong place. Terra is under my protection.
Jimmy Ray is Corey Barton. Man, I didn't catch that last one, but I can back it up here. Let's see who. Jose Garcia. Okay. Different covers for that project. Very cool. So wide selection of artists there. Over on Fund My Comic. Mortal Rising 2. Burnt Offerings. Put the link in the chat. Have to go to YouTube for that, but that's okay. We can get it done. Also, see, why is that doing that? I had no idea why. Maybe okay. Sean Davis saying, my son and I have released the continuing adventures of Pillow Man and Blanket Boy #1, a follow-up to our 2020 series. And I can put the link in that. That's Star Cross Comics. Star Cross Comics is the first Devil Flyer and Hopper was on a Star Cross Comics cover. Of course, I paid to have them on there, but I love that book simply because my characters are making their first appearance on a established, they've been in business for over 20 years at this point, almost 25 years, I think. There's the links. Pillow Man and Blanket Boy. Wow. Only 4 days left for Project Naosis. We've talked about this project before and had creator on about it. And it's a great looking character. So winding down. All right, I will. Had to go silent there a moment. Put that in the chat. There we go. You can check that out. They are at $94 with 3 backers over on Fund My Comic. I think they might be on multiple platforms. 19%, 24 days to go. Started January 3rd, ends February 22nd. How's that? Says 24 days to go. Oh, February 22nd. Okay, got it. All right, so started another 30 days, I guess, on the project. Actually looks like pretty neat character, neat book. Go check that out on Fund My Comic. Not the nice colorist on it. The Atlantean, the Serpent Nation knows Cole is coming from the Atlantean issue 2, spring 2025. Will launch March 3rd on Fund My Comic. You can get on the mailing list at russleach.com. This was inked, colored, I should say, by Ink Spots. Wonderful cover. Russ Leach doing the artwork, of course. Published through Arrow Dragon cover. There's your lizard representation for the day. Did I not put a more rising in there? Maybe I missed it. If I did, I did. But thanks for dropping it again, Apex. Yeah, wonderful cover done by Ink Spots. You would think he would keep with that, but now Russ said that for the third issue, looking for a colorist for that. So he's got a variety, with the Shadow Kingdom one, he got a colorist to do that, looked really nice. And now the second one, Ink Spots, and I'm like, yeah, man, when I first saw that, that's dope. I hope he continues to use him. Apparently not. He's going to get somebody else for issue 3. So maybe that's a good thing for variety. So launching in March, and we will be doing a soft relaunch in March over on Red Valkyries on the 8th at 3 Central, I think it is. Don't want to speak out in turn. Jackson Pollock, born in 1912, major figure in the abstract expressionist movement. He battled alcoholism for most of his life, passed in 1956 at age 44. That's so young. In an alcohol-related single car accident when he was driving out, and it killed another person as well. I'll show you a picture of Jackson Pollock from the Life magazine that he was featured in that really launched him. Like I said, I wanted John Malkovich to be him. I mean, Ed Harris, I can see, okay, but yeah, I mean, Malkovich looked more like the, Jackson. And I feel like he had the range that he could have done. And I just don't know that Pollock, based on a book, I don't know how accurate that was really. John Banner, you may not know him by name, but he was born in 1910. So his heavenly birthday. Remembered as Sergeant Schultz on TV's Hogan the Hero, 1965 through 71. Ironically, due to his Jewish heritage, he escaped Nazi Germany in 1938, losing most of his family to the Holocaust. He passed in 1973, sadly, at only age 63, or 63, I'm sorry. Here's a picture of him. And his character, Schultz, he was a successful German toy maker, was the storyline. He had a successful factory before, World War II broke out in Hogan's Heroes storyline. He did more than this, but this is the role he's most known for. But yeah, you can catch him in multiple things that he's done back in the day, for sure. If you're looking for him, he'll crop up from time to time. Also, Joe Crothers. You might not know his name. He was born in 1941 on this date. Sadly, it's his heavenly birthday too. He appeared on numerous TV shows, but remembered today for his TV roles on Dark Shadows, 1966 through 69. Yes, I've seen many Dark Shadows with him in it. He was almost on every episode of that for a while, from 66 to 69. And The Edge of Night, I remember him in that too. The Edge of Night, 1977 to 84. He passed in 1985 at age 44 of AIDS-related complications. You may not know him by name, but certainly if you watch some classic Dark Shadows, or maybe not, which, thing. You might have seen him, because I definitely did on The Edge of Night. Knew that he had done that. And The Dark Shadows is like a gothic soap opera, basically. 1973, McDonald's introduced the Quarter Pounder to its national menu. How about that? 1973, the Quarter Pounder. That's usually what I get. Cyndi Lauper released Time After Time 41 years ago. Of course, I don't get any McDonald's anymore. I don't trust the food anymore. 1984, Time After Time released that. On January 27th, 1961, Dino originally officially joined the Flintstones household in the Flintstones episode, The Snorkosaurus Hunter. Bermuda Depths. Now, this was a new one on me. Maybe I watched it back in the day. It was an ABC primetime movie called Bermuda Depths. Let's check out some Edge of Night. Yeah, Bermuda Depths premiere. Why were a young boy's parents murdered 20 years ago? Who is the beautiful phantom-like girl who suddenly appears out of the ocean? What is the creature at the bottom of the sea who rules the kingdom of death? Wow. In the Bermuda Triangle, there are some mysteries that no man can explain. Looks like an interesting movie. Biologist pursues a mysterious creature that haunts the Bermuda Depths in this eerie 1977 Star Wars year romantic drama. 2 hours length. There you go. There's Apollo from the Rocky movies, but this is pre-Apollo. Look at that giant turtle. Oh, the effects look awful on this, but for the time, hey, looks interesting. Anything with giant turtles. She's a mermaid. That's exactly what I thought. That's big fan of the Quarter Pounder. I am too. Just don't eat at McDonald's anymore. I'm a toy maker that knows nothing. Yeah. Hogan! Revision of my film back campaign. Okay. What did we do? What did we do to it, Apex? And check out Apex, I believe, on yesterday's Katie Did stream. He was on with Katie Did. Keep plugging away. You'll become a regular, maybe. January 27th, 1984, Michael Jackson's hair caught on fire while filming a Pepsi commercial. I remember that when that was in the movie. Yesterday was Donna Reed, the actress, her birthday. She was born in 1921. Stevie Wonder, Superstition, was number one on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1973. 1973, the Paris Peace Accords were signed, ending United States military involvement in Vietnam. That's a big one. Here's a visual of the casualties of Vietnam. Really slacked off there that last year, 72. It's probably because it wasn't a full year, huh? But yeah, Blood and Treasure. Hey, Kate. Kate, evening to you, dear. It's good to see you. On January 27, 1967, astronauts Gus Grissom, Edwin White, and Roger Chaffee were killed in a fire during a test of their Apollo 1 spacecraft. That was horrendous. Electrical fire. They couldn't escape. Debuting 45 years ago, Galactica 1980 on ABC. I watched it. Flying motorcycle like things. Battlestar Galactica 1980 is not that great, as opposed to but it's a continuation. Laverne and Shirley premiered, starring Penny Marshall and Cindy Williams, premiered 49 years ago in 1976 on ABC. So next year will be 50 years for Laverne and Shirley. Watch the heck out of that. Definitely at the time. Godzilla 1954. Look, yeah, here's some more lizard representation. Lorenzo, if you didn't like that first. Godzilla's always a great, Yes, I'm a bit regular on Good Morning Comic Gate. Good for you. Got our first bloop here. I did hear that. And welcome to the show, Elsie Danley, Walter Danley. How are you? Good, bro. How you doing? You enjoying this? Are you supposed to get rain Thursday like we are? Or do you know?
Yeah, I just saw it. We're supposed to get a bunch of rain. Supposed to be starting in the morning, rain all day, it says.
That's what they're telling us here too. Don't need the wet stuff really, but whatever. It's going to be what it's going to be. Check out these giant seals, man, on this boat.
Oh, wow.
Must have got into some steroids or something, huh?
I
know that's not a huge boat, but
still.
Of course, Shadowhawk would just call this probably, but
I mean, if they were on your boat,
do seals come that big? I mean, geez. That's like, pretty big.
Walruses.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Walruses are fairly large, right?
Oh yeah. Sometimes they got teeth. Two big.
Those are stellar sea lions. Stellar sea lions. So maybe they do get that big.
Wow.
Never heard of stellar sea lions.
Stellar.
Mm-hmm.
I
think you were on here when Peter. I think you were on here when Peter was drawing Bog, huh?
Yeah, I saw that. Really cool. Oh yeah, that was really nice.
He really beefs my character. And that's when you chime in and say, "Yeah, he does," or something. The dead air.
Well,
oh man,
you don't draw a little wimpy Bog yourself.
No, I don't. I try not to.
There we go.
Yeah, I got so much material here. I don't know what to share. To tell you the truth. I'll give you an example of what I was talking about earlier that took Dog, in the 30s. I guess these came out in the 30s, maybe the 40s. But I don't remember seeing anything like this, like Little Rascals, But here's a good one.
Red Dog.
And I think it started playing before it came out. Back it up. Red Dog Saloon.
Yeah, like here.
Slugs. Washers. Look at that little roulette wheel.
Everybody loses.
Oh.
What are you going to drink, Jen?
I'll have a whiskey straight.
There
Those
really
are
is
fun.
a Red Dog Saloon down the road. It's called Red
Oh.
Dog Saloon.
Oh, in Jackson, Tennessee?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
About a mile from here.
Very interesting. Yeah, I mean they've got the dogs playing.
That's pretty smart.
Tons of stuff, you know. It's
who doesn't
were you
love
saying
dogs?
something?
I mean, you know.
Yeah,
some
I mean
people
they
might.
did a lot of things back in the day, you know. Hal Roach and others.
Hey, give me a beer.
Make it a pair. Snappy, will you?
Make it a pair and snap it. Look, it just takes a turn.
Protein ball in the corner.
That guy's got an arm like my mother-in-law.
Well, good to you.
Dogs are cool.
I love to watch that, and to think that those were made about 100 years ago is just pretty wild, you know.
It is wild. Doesn't seem like it, does it, brother? Doesn't seem like 100 years ago.
No. I noticed on the news yesterday they celebrated the 80 years of the rescue of people out of Auschwitz. That was pretty wild.
Yeah.
They had a big ceremony, even with some
It
survivors
was
still there.
Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Uh-huh.
It was Holocaust Remembrance Day. Officially. At least that's what they call it. Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Where did you get stellar? That's what it was listed as, stellar seals. So I don't know. Do a Google. Are there such thing as stellar seals? Or was that just an expression? I don't know if it's AI or not, you know. Or it's the size of a ship, you know. And that's ivory tusk that walruses have, isn't it? Isn't that ivory?
I believe so.
He's froze.
Whale's teeth are ivory.
Whoops.
I know. I used to laugh in safety. Now they call me Three-Finger Joe.
Oh, damn.
See if that works. Light. We see your face. Again.
You have everything to look forward to, except tomorrow.
Except tomorrow. Oh man, I just had to give Toyota half my fortune for my vehicle.
Toyota?
Of course, I ain't got no fortune, so yeah, I had to get I had a boot that busted and it was throwing grease everywhere. I had to get my front and rear brakes changed. And I had to get an oil change.
Mm.
Of course, when I got my oil changed several moons ago, they told me about that break in the thing, so I know it was there. So they just went ahead and had it fixed, you know.
Bull of the Spitz team received the ball and ran it back 35 yards before he was downed. It was a glorious play.
It was a glorious play. Glorious.
That's like Lancelot, Secret Chimp, with except they did it with chimpanzees, right?
Right.
This one was done in 1930, so I assume they did, those around the advent of sound, or very early, 1930.
Be a fun thing to do with it, you know.
I feel so funny all
I feel so funny all over. Never give a dog a drink, right?
A little covering off this earpiece came off in my ear, and I was wondering what the heck is in my ear.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I've got one that's off here too. That I need to find. It's around here somewhere.
Yeah, I put it back on, but that thing stuck in my ear, and I put it back on, but
Mm-hmm.
But it came off in my ear. I'm like, what is that?
Dogville comedies. That's what they were called. Dogville comedies.
Dogville comedies.
Dogville comedies, yeah. Here's an early ad. You and I have sold a bunch of die casts. This is Remco Toys, 1959, but I believe it is Matchbox, or he's used Matchbox in the ad.
Terrific, Jimmy. Drive right in and park. Let me show you how it works. Switch on the projector, turn the still knob, and you'll see 6 exciting still features. Have Gummo Travel and Heckle and Jekyll, Captain Kangaroo and Dinky Duck, Mighty Mouse and Farmer Alfalfa. This Remco Movie Land Drive-In Theater has everything. Projection booth, marquee that changes, ticket window, and 6 beautiful cars. Remember, every boy wants a Remco toy. And so do girls.
Wow, that's Patty Duke. Look at that. That's Patty Duke there.
That a trip.
Yeah. And it's a great idea. A drive-in theater with, plates. I've got my Enterprise, that had the Mago Enterprise action figures for it, and it had, for the spaceship screen, it had like cardboard inserts that had 2 hooks here, and they were cut out, and you hooked them up there, and you could put up different scenes in the Star Trek bridge. Yeah. Boomer. Yeah.
Hail the chat. I didn't mean to ignore the chat. How's everybody doing?
It did look like Matchbox to me. Matchbox is now owned and has been owned since about the mid 80s by Hot Wheels. You and your brother had Hot Wheels, had the original Hot Wheels when they came out, didn't you?
Yeah.
Every one of
one
them.
of them. Had room motors, had probably 150 feet of track, had loop to loops, bridges to jump, man. And we had it continuously going because those room motors just kept the cars going. And we just tended to the wrecks.
This is Turkish version of Wizard of Oz, where the witch gets splashed, in this case by Dorothy with the water.
Benim asla elimde su.
More horrific, really. Now look at this crew. Gotta get the music in there. Wow.
I got a good Pez set of them.
Yeah. Yeah. They came out with a box set about what?
Yeah.
About 500,000 of those or 250,000 of those. That's usually about what the Pez box set run in numbering. Yeah.
I just got one. I liked it. It was cool.
I bought a whole bunch of the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and I know you got the little, and the dwarfs were little figures, and then you had the little figure dwarfs and stuff that were in the Lord of the Rings set as well.
I've got several of those too.
And the Star Wars set, of course, with the glow in the dark Palpatine. I'm trying to think of some of the. I've got Next Generation, Star Trek Next Generation set, and they've got the original as well.
Yeah.
I've got both of those. They've done both the original and Next Generation.
I got a round Death Star, 10. It's a 10, and a few others too as well. Got a little box set that has the Baby Yoda and the Mandalorian.
This is a trip. H.R. Geiger that did the artwork. His artwork's a trip anyway, but did the artwork to Alien. Here he is with Deborah Harry in 1981 for like a photo shoot. Never seen this before. I guess he probably designed all that. But that's Blondie there on his shoulder. Isn't that wild?
That is wild. Looked like she's tattooed good.
Yeah.
And he's been splashed with gold.
Can I remember the first Pez I ever got? No, I mean, I had Casper back in the day, and that had a die cut stem where you could, this was actually cut out and you could see the inner working going up and down. They also had Mickey Mouse like that. I know I had Bullwinkle. I had a couple Bullwinkles. I'd tear one up and get another one and replace it. You know, I remember I had there were two different versions of Bullwinkle, and I had each one of them at one time. 1914, this is the original Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, if you've never seen that. And there you go. That's the Oz logo there on her forehead. That's from 1914 silent movie of The Wizard of Oz. They did several of those, and the original Tin Woodsman was Hardy from Laurel and Hardy. He was the original Tin Woodsman in those silent movies.
Tin Woodman?
Yeah, the Tin Man. He was a woodsman. He had an axe.
That's true.
Yeah. He was the Tin Woodsman. Mickey Spillane, My Camera, starring Stacy Keach, premiered 41 years ago in 1984 on CBS. Did any of you watch that? Mickey Spillane's My Camera. Stacy Keach returns as the hard-nosed private eye who still smokes too much but remains protected by Betsy, his gun, and Velda, his secretary. In the first case, his buddy Captain Pat Chambers, played by Don Strode, is gunned down during a drug bust at a high-stakes poker game, and subsequent evidence implicates the policeman in drug trafficking. Two-hour long on that. I never watched a lot of that Mickey Spillane stuff.
I thought it was like a show. I didn't know it was a movie.
1994, 31 years ago, this was on TV. I didn't watch it when it came out, but when it came on disc, I absolutely did watch it and really enjoyed it. And J. Michael Straczynski is supposedly doing a remake, so I can't wait to see how that turns out.
The dawn of the third age of mankind, 10 years after the Earth-Minbari War. The Babylon Project was a dream given form. Its goal, to prevent another war by creating a place where humans and aliens
I do have
could
some
work out
Smarty
differences peacefully.
candies
It's a port of
dispensers.
call, home away from home for diplomats, hustlers, entrepreneurs, and wanderers. Humans and aliens wrapped in 2,500,000 tons of spinning metal, all alone in the night. It can be a dangerous place, but it's our last best hope for peace. This is the story of the last of the Babylon stations. The year is 2258. The name of the place is Babylon 5.
Yeah, Babylon 5. Yeah, there's different ones. Some that dispense out Smarties candies. There's been different ones that do that. Flips, clicks, all kind. There's so many different candy dispensers. It's hard to
I
keep
got
up.
one here. Here we go. Let's show him one.
Yeah, if you got one there, do you have one handy?
Yeah, showing it right now.
Oh, okay. That's the King Kong. Yeah, they came out with several of the King Kong, 4 or 5 different models. I forgot. Yeah, that now is that's clicks there, right? With a K.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that came out when
They had and they came out with Christmas.
About 2004 on that, I think. 6, maybe. I don't know about the Christmas one. You're looking at the Christmas one.
This is 05 on
05,
this.
yeah. Okay, so that came out around the
King
time
Kong.
Peter Jackson's King Kong movie came out.
Hey man, I've even got, look at here. I've even got the American Idol.
Yeah, they did come out with some of those. These are, I mean, worth collecting because they were hard to find at the time. Fred's store was the only place I could find them.
Up online now.
Yeah, I know.
I mean,
and Fantastic Four, they did Iron Man. They did a couple of Iron Men.
Well, I got them right here, man. Fantastic Four.
Yeah. And Crystal Head, clear plastic on Johnny Storm there. And Sue, the Invisible Woman, Invisible Girl there. Yeah, kind of different. Got the thing, and yeah. I've invested heavily in those, and then the Iron Man ones came out, and I didn't invest as heavily in those. And Captain America, they came out with a Captain America. I sent Pell Rider one of those.
Yeah, I got them too. But like I said, these here are not too cheap.
What do you mean by that? You mean on resale? You've seen them on eBay or something?
to sell them now, you're gonna get about $50, maybe a little less. If you sell all four of them.
Yeah, yeah, as a set, yeah.
know?
And I've got multiple set. Well, I mean,
they're almost impossible to find. You need to put a set on, bro. Put it on cheap. Put it on 35 or something where people be eating them up, man. Make you some money.
Well, we sold a rare purple version of the Mummy for like about $35-$40.
Yeah, it costs 50 cents.
I showed this earlier. DC Comics has done a little digest with the Hostess snack ad collection. How about that?
Wow, that's
Remember
cool.
all the Hostess ads that they used to do for Marvel and DC, but that's the DC stuff. They say it's no longer available, so imagine you'd have to find it on eBay.
It's like so many other things that are. I mean, you can't. I mean, what? You're not getting a pass for under $1 no more.
Exactly.
Never.
Yeah. Yeah, they're quite expensive. Here's an old thing. Tempo Wild West Outpost.
That's
Have
nice.
you ever?
I'd love to have that.
Have you seen that?
I've seen similar items, but I
I've
haven't
seen
seen that
similar
particular
items, but
one.
not exactly that. Yeah.
Because I've got some things, some old horses and cowboys.
Oh yeah, and back in the day, we
Scenarios.
played with Lincoln logs. Remember, and make our own forts and all kinds of stuff.
I got a original Tinker toy out in the garage. I mean,
Oh yeah, the Tinker toys.
I mean,
now that
order,
was kind of put together, right?
right. But if you ask me for a quarter, I'll buy it. If
But
it's got everything in there,
but with metal or something. That just makes you sound
all,
cheap, man.
all
I did
wood.
pick up. I don't have it here because it took up so much room. But I bought a board game for $1.25. I said, man, that's worth it. I don't care what kind of board game it is. It looks good. And
no, I've got some nice games, man. I've got right down there. I've got X-Men, Lion King, Trouble. And then I've got that box of those. The card game of Marvel has those characters on it that I only bought a few of when I first saw them.
mm-hmm.
Gave you some. Then I bought the whole game when I saw it. I said, "Oh heck yeah,
yeah,
they're cool.
And
big old cards, I think I gave you things.
Oh yeah, the Marvel cards. Yeah, I've got some. I don't have all of them, but yeah, the random ones.
Cool
Yeah, they are neat.
Box and everything.
I would have loved to have that card game back in the 70s.
Oh,
Blood and Sword 2, Richard Embry says, new page in. I'll show it here in a second. We're a couple pages away from finishing colorings and moving on to lettering. Thank you so much for all your support. He says this is only possible because of you, exclusively over there on Fund My Comic.
To your comic, may it prosper and bring you wealth
and enjoyment, right?
It has to bring him that if he's creating it.
Has to.
He's just trying to share it with you.
91 backers over on Fund My Comic, $3,266. He had over 200 backers on the first one. I don't know. Let's see. I think pretty much the same price point.
I think the economy's going to get better, though, man.
Oh, definitely. And, it hasn't been up as long as the first one. Yeah, I think the economy will take an upswing. Say that again,
That'd
Elsie?
be cool. Shadowhawk said he's never seen the clicks.
Well, he doesn't remember when I've shown them, but it's been a while since I did show them. 1971, Eggo waffles were introduced. How about that?
Eggo waffles. Eggo,
Dukes of Hazzard premiered 46 years ago on CBS in 1979. Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. I've been watching some westerns, and the sheriff and even the mayor, and then I guess grandpa, their father or whatever. Was he the grandfather? You had Catherine Bach,
Angels of the Renaissance. Whoever you are, brother, we're doing awesome. Sorry to interrupt, Rex. I wasn't trying to interrupt.
No, that's fine. Denver Powell. That was his name, Denver Powell. He was in a lot of those westerns going back to the late 50s even. He played Uncle Jesse. That's who it was.
Uncle Jesse.
And James Best as Sheriff Roscoe Coltrane. Yeah. James Best, he was in a lot of those westerns that I was not even aware of, What were you saying, Elsie?
I was saying
Roscoe
P. Coltrane, but I said Shadow says the last time he remembers clicks was when he was still driving, when he did the show while he was driving.
Oh, yeah. It may have. I don't think it's been that long since I showed some, but yeah.
Well, he's just saying since he remembers seeing any clicks he was
Oh yeah.
on,
oh right. Yeah. There was a lot that he missed because he was driving and couldn't see.
Still, you don't always
I would talk about some of this stuff and he couldn't look down and view it,
Well, sure. Or maybe he did, but and you know what? I'd forget half the time I've seen, because I've seen so many clicks. I couldn't remember any time you shown it at all. Not me. I've seen it lots, but I hadn't seen it every day.
Release the Kraken.
That's cool.
That's cool with the extended tail.
That
moving arms.
Where do we?
eBay. I'm sure it's on eBay. I mean, this is vintage. It's not new.
So it cost us by at least a couple $100.
You might be surprised, but you can assume. Sure.
I'm assuming.
You know as well as I do. You can ask what you want on eBay, and frequently people do.
I would ask if I had one brand new and I was selling it. I would want at least a couple $100, or I'll keep it. At least that's the way I see it.
Maybe in the box. I don't know if it's worth. I mean, it's cheap.
If it's how it is, if it's 1988, then no, probably not.
What, late 70s? So a little over about 40, 45 years old.
I'll look for something good. I was going to get something right now.
Little Frog G here.
Frog G. What's he doing?
Ink spots, acrylic over Jason's work. Look at that messy studio. He's a plumber by day and an artist by night. There's got to be a story in there somewhere.
Got to be.
Scott Glenn turned 86. Actor Scott Glenn on the 26th. You might remember his, maybe not the name, but the face. I'm sure you'll recognize. I think this is from Silverado. Wasn't he in Silverado?
It depends on which version.
Early 80s with Kevin Costner. Let's see if it says. It should say here. Yeah, Silverado. He was in Silence of the Lambs, Apocalypse Now, Hunt for Red October, The Right Stuff, Urban Cowboy, The Wild Geese 2, The Bourne Ultimatum, Backdraft, a bunch of different stuff.
In Midnight Cowboy, he was the outlaw.
Mr. 38 Special.
Pretty good.
Here's a Neil Adams $6 Million Man magazine, I guess. Neil work. Nice painting. I like the painted stuff, You don't see that often anymore.
Paint stuff is really cool.
That's what I have plans to do with Midnight and the Roustabouts. An
I hope
acetate
so.
cover, I'm thinking. But yeah, the pulp will definitely have a painted cover. Most of those had painted covers, and definitely gonna have a painted cover.
Well, too, you're also thinking, yeah, it's an oil painting, maybe acrylic painting, but also you got to look at the style. I can paint something and it'd still look like a cartoon if I wanted to. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? Just depends on how it's done and how you would like it, and you know, you have to just. It's like drawing. I mean, I could draw you as a kid, or try to draw you as a human, just like you are. You know, it just depends on
Disney's
what.
101 Dalmatians premiered 64 years ago in 1961. Love that movie. That movie's older than me. I must have watched it in reruns. I think it was in the 70s when I saw it. Probably when they brought it back, maybe about a decade later.
Since you're going, take care. Peace out. Keep collecting. I'm talking to Shadow. Take care.
Got it. See you, Shadowhawk. MASH premiered in theaters 55 years ago in 1970. 1986, HBO began scrambling its satellite signal. 1984, Ronald Reagan announced that the United States would begin development of a permanent crewed space station and invited international space agencies to the project, forming what would later be known as the International Space Station. So I guess he and Trump had that in common. He started the Space Force, and he, didn't neglect space either, and
Rex,
got the space station going.
People are, because I got some actually, they're family by marriage, but they claim to be atheists, and they sitting there, oh, everybody bowing to Trump, da da da. I said, look, you can forget Trump being a savior, you can forget Biden being your savior. I said, because ain't none of them people gonna save us. I said, just forget it. He's my president, and he's the one I think that will run America the way I'd like to see it in 10 years for my grandchildren and my children. I don't give
It wouldn't be much for anybody to go in there and run it more conservatively than it's being run. So when you scrape the bottom of the barrel, it's not hard to do better.
Not to mention you just throwing our money in the toilet.
Absolutely. And he's recouping on a lot of that spent money with these executive orders.
I'm not hoping that he comes in, oh, he's great. Yeah, I'm glad, because I'm for those policies. But there are people that are against them. Hey, I don't hate them. But you know what? I don't want
I knew this was going to be a long story, folks. He didn't know at the time.
I just didn't want to hear about saving no fish because LA burnt down. Don't tell me that. I don't want to hear it.
Well, I mean, I think even California, there's been talk that even California, when you tie federal money to that and he puts on certain restrictions, I think they're going to even have to kind of come around because they can't do without that federal money. And yet they're going to have to stop some of their practices or pass some more.
They've gone in to clean up the murderers, the rapists, the child molesters.
Well, under Biden, they were giving out drug packets with syringes and stuff.
We gave them. We
know you're going to do it. Let's make sure you do it without having any medical, with clean needles. God. Instead of arresting the people
yourself, man,
and put them
why not just give them a gun and say put a bullet in it, spin the chamber, and say have
in
fun.
Minecraft. Yeah, I say that because there's certain things you can't say on YouTube, but you go right ahead. kidding.
didn't know
No,
nothing.
that's not.
Really,
I
I
know
don't
you.
know nothing about
Yeah,
it.
we don't
I hope I
advocate
don't break any
self-deletion
rules,
around
'cause
here.
I certainly don't want to offend nobody, and I don't want to be offensive. You know, if whatever Facebook restream thing,
Me either.
you know, especially, well, I can smell myself. I ain't worried about me.
Yeah, I was just a little paranoid there anyway. 1971, Charles Manson was found guilty of first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder
think?
for the deaths of 7 people,
Now,
all of whom were killed by
conspiracy.
members of Manson's family at his instruction. And he's still in prison today. Old crazy Charlie's still there, you know?
He's still there. He kicks the bucket.
Big time spy guy for our side in World War II. I did not know that, but I've seen him in some older 50s stuff that he played. He was an actor for quite a while. That's pretty wild that he was a spy for us in World War II.
Is.
Yeah.
Really
Boss
cool.
Hogg, the actor that played Boss Hogg on.
Lord, the
And
whole
you
world
just
needs
yeah.
to come together for
Rambo,
that.
the 4th film in the franchise starring Sylvester Stallone, premiered 17 years ago in 2008. Wow, it's already been 8 years on that. 1961, President Kennedy held the very first live television presidential news conference. So that only goes back to Kennedy's time. Just 1961 on that, yeah. I mean, they had the first presidential
4.
debate in 1960. You know,
Of
him
course,
and
I didn't have
Nixon.
no
That's
TV.
pretty wild.
I didn't know none of that because I was 4 years
No.
old out in the middle of the country. Diapers
Sucking your
playing.
thumb.
No, I didn't do that. But I was out having a good
I
time.
did, and I'm proud of it. I mean, you know, to say that I remember doing that anyway.
Sucking that thumb, brother. But
Yeah. 1980,
about-
Black Entertainment Television launched.
learned to shoot at 22.
Wow. Okay.
Excuse me.
1963, the Flintstones announced that they were going to have a baby. How about that? Animated baby. Tic Tacs introduced in 1973. Tic Tacs were introduced to the United States. That's wild.
That is interesting.
I'll pick up Tic Tacs from time to time.
Yeah, we like Tic Tacs, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we like Tic Tacs. They got like strawberry and cream now. Actress Catherine Leigh Scott, who was on Dark Shadows from 1966 to 71, and the first film House of Dark Shadows, 1970. 81 years young. Her birthday was the 26th.
Really?
Not many people from Dark Shadows are still alive. The cast members, you know.
Yeah.
Just about everybody that was in that wrote a book about, you know, their time on Dark Shadows. That yellow and orange outfit, that was like H&R Puffin stuff, type stuff. It's like, wow, look at that outfit. You could definitely tell it was the 70s or the 60s, you know, just by the way they dressed. Yeah. Anyway, I've got other stuff to share, but maybe I'll do a stream later. In fact, later tonight I'll be on another stream on topic lists on Tuesdays, and then I guess tomorrow I'll be on Omer Glitch's Hump Day show. So I'll get some drawing in tonight and drawing in tomorrow. My taxes, not 2003. You're gonna have to kind of walk me through that one. But now I did this year's taxes. I got like $46 back. That's state and federal. I got $4 from the federal.
That's crazy.
But then I had to pay H&R Block $200 and something, probably most of it, you know, to do my taxes. But now the difference was I had to kind of do it as a business because I had to put the campaign money in there. So I wanted to make sure I got that part right. And I did take deductions, you know, for some of the stuff and the ink, you know, things that I used to draw with and the paper and for the head sketches and stuff like that, cost of that, you know. So, yeah. Anyway, we're going to get out of here so we can take a little rest in between streams. Anything last thoughts, Elsie, before we go?
Keep collecting.
And keep reading those things you collect. That's what Peter said yesterday. I agree with that.
Hard to read. You can draw them. That's cool. We like drawing.